Good morning guys, it's the morning after the surgery, so I just want to show you how I slept. So it is day 2, so day 1 was the surgery day itself, and then it's the morning after, so so day 2 today. So I'm not going to make this too long. I just want to go over how yesterday went, how the surgery went. I don't know why my voice is like this. Yeah, apologies. But yeah, how did the surgery go? You know what? By the end of it, I was just so tired. I was just like, get me out of here, please. How long is left? I literally kept asking them, are we finished yet? Are we nearly finished? How many more minutes to go? Because I was just so fed up and tired of it all. We started the surgery about 9:15, and we ended up finishing about going on after 8 p.m. So yeah, like a 10-hour surgery I think it was in total. Of course there was a break in between for lunch and stuff, and yeah, they washed your hair and stuff like that, but I think it was about 10 hours overall. It was so long, and I was one of the last people at the clinic. I thought everyone had gone home and I was the only one left, honestly, because whilst they were doing my transplant, I could hear one of the consultants giving some of the other patients advice or instructions about how to care for your hair, how to take your medicines, etc. So I was just like, I'm going to be the only one left. Honestly, it was so tiring, and they did explain to me why it ended up taking so long. So initially, before we even started the process, when the lady was drawing my hairline and just checking if it felt okay, she was saying that she thinks that they'll be able to transplant about 2,500 grafts, but they may be able to go up to 2,700. So initially the plan was to get 2,500 grafts or up to 2,700, and I was like really happy with that amount, because that sounds in line with what most people tend to get, or what most women tend to get. So when she told me that, I was like, yeah, that sounds good, that sounds excellent, I'd be really happy with that. But it ended up being that they gave me 4,000 grafts, and they only told me this after they had finished everything, when they were cleaning up the room. The consultant who speaks English, he came in and told me, yes, apologies it took so long, because I was asking so many times, when are we going to finish? So yeah, he apologized for it taking so long, and he said the reason why it took so long was because they ended up giving me 4,000 grafts. And the way he said it, he was expecting me to be happy and pleased, like, oh brilliant, thank God, amazing. But I was like, 4,000? I was really concerned, because I personally haven't heard of a woman get 4,000 grafts before, and I've seen other like YouTube bloggers share their journeys, and some of them have really thick hairlines with just like 3,000 grafts alone. So when he said 4,000, I was like, 4,000? And he was saying, yeah, it's good. Essentially, the hair in my donor area, he said that it is so healthy that they were able to, I guess, extract more grafts than they initially anticipated, because the hair is just so healthy there, or the follicles, I guess, are so healthy there, that they were able to take more out than anticipated and move them to the front of my head. So the reason for them doing 4,000 is because my head, the donor area, is so healthy that it enabled them to take more grafts. So he was saying that my hair will look beautiful, it will look like I'm a teenager, I guess because young people have thick, luscious hair. So he said I'll look like a teenager when it all grows out, and it will be really thick and beautiful. I was not happy with this. I was really, really worried because I would never have chosen to have 4,000 grafts. So I said, I can't remember what I said, but I said, like, are you sure? Like, I'm really worried. Would it be too thick? I don't want it to be too thick. And he was saying, no, don't worry, it will be beautiful. It will be like a gradual thing. It won't just be like immediate thick hair, it will be gradual. So he went out the room after he explained that, and I told myself, when he comes back in, let me voice again that I'm not happy, just so that, you know, I don't leave here wishing that I had said more, but I didn't say more. So when he did come back into the room, I said, like, I'm really, really worried about the 4,000 grafts, because even though I may have like lots of hair strands, my actual strands of hair are quite thin. So I don't want my hair to look too thin, because my hair is fine. That's what I told him. And he said, oh, don't worry, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. So that's how we left it. I wasn't entirely happy, just being really honest. And I mean, I'm trying not to worry, and I was trying not to worry last night, because, you know, they could have told me this whilst they were doing it, but they left it all the way to the end to tell me this. So by the time I was complaining, it had already been done. There wasn't anything that I could do. So right about now, I'm just praying to God that when my hair grows out, when this all grows out, that it doesn't look too thick, that it doesn't look too fake, because I don't really feel like my edges were that bad to begin with. There are so many more people with worse edges than me, so I didn't really feel like I even needed a lot. I really wanted just to focus mainly on my temples. But yeah, they've done it now, so we're just gonna have to see how it looks when it grows out. I'm trying not to worry, but of course I needed to come on here and give you an update, so it's made me a bit more worried again. But yeah, I'm just praying that when it all grows out, it will look fine, and it wouldn't look too thick, too fake, too manufactured. But yeah, that's why it took so long, like nearly 10 hours yesterday. What else? The pain, it was painful, I can't lie. I don't feel like the pain was as bad as some people have made it out to be in their videos, but then again, everyone's different. We all have different pain thresholds. It was painful, I'm not saying that it wasn't. It definitely was painful. The injections, they felt like a burning sensation, so you can feel them injecting the needle into your scalp. And then when they pull it out, or maybe when the liquid is going in, I'm not quite sure how it happens, but you feel the needle going in, and then you just feel a burning sensation when they're pulling it out. So that isn't nice, that is not pleasant at all. And they do many injections. I was trying to keep up and count, but because it was so painful, I lost count, and I was just trying to breathe in and breathe out, you know, along with the injections, but trying to regulate my breathing, and just, yeah, it was a lot. Again, it wasn't, I expected it to be more painful than it was, so I'm kind of happy that it wasn't absolutely unbearable. But I did pray a lot. I definitely asked God to help me, I guess, take the pain and to lower my pain threshold so that it wouldn't be as painful as it may have been if I didn't pray. So I totally believe that God did help me, and that he did reduce the pain, or that he reduced my ability to feel the pain. So that's why I think it wasn't as painful as I thought it would be, but it was still painful, definitely. And when I was in the midst of it, I was thinking, I am not doing this again. I'm not doing this ever again, because it's a lot of pain to put yourself through. So I really prayed that I don't have to get another hair transplant, or that I don't choose to in the future. I don't want to go through it again, but I don't think it wasn't as painful as I thought it would be, but it was still definitely painful. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it was probably like an 8 sometimes, reaching 9 sometimes, but I thought it would be a 10 out of 10 or going off the charts completely. So that's how it was in terms of pain. Apart from the injections, I couldn't really feel anything apart from, I think they definitely injected more parts of my hair because I was drifting in and out of sleep because it was such a long procedure, and there's not much for you to do apart from just look at the ceiling or look at the floor when you're face down. They do cover your eyes with like some bandages or something, but you're not really looking at anything interesting, and there's no music in the room, and they're speaking Turkish, so you just end up getting bored and falling asleep when you're not really feeling the pain. But yeah, towards the end of the process, it did feel like there were many different needles in my scalp, like at the back on both sides, and that was really, really painful. I guess maybe just as much painful as the injections themselves, as the anesthesia. So it just felt like there were needles hanging out of your scalp. So my neck was hurting as well because it was resting on something to keep my head propped up. So when I tried to move my neck to just get a bit more comfortable, I couldn't, because you need to try and keep still because they're still transplanting things on your head. But 2, I couldn't even move it because my neck just felt like it had been in the same position for so long that I just couldn't move it. It felt a bit numb almost due to the pain, but I definitely could feel the needles like hanging off my scalp, I guess ever so slightly swaying, I guess. It was really, really painful. I don't want to go through this ever again. Honestly, it is a lot. It is definitely a lot. I didn't cry. I didn't cry. I told myself going in that I'm not gonna cry because I do cry with stuff like this sometimes, but I told myself I'm not crying about this, and I didn't, so thank God for that. I did feel a bit tearful though when one of the consultants, he came in and said, "How are you?" That simple question, "How are you?" that nearly got me breaking down in tears, honestly, because you do feel a bit alone and isolated because the people working on your head, they don't really speak that much English. They only know words like pain, turn, i.e. turn your head, and that's about it really. So it was nice for someone to come into the room, especially after so many hours, and ask like, "How are you?" That made me feel quite emotional, but I didn't feel emotional due to the pain itself, so that was good. What else? So yeah, I felt like they were, I guess, taking follicles from all over my head and not just the back bit. It just felt like they were taking follicles from like here all the way around, from everywhere. And I don't know if that's because they took 4,000 grafts in the end, or if that's something they usually do. I'm not too sure. But yeah, it felt like they were taking follicles from all over my head, which was quite interesting, if you can call it that. What else? We did break for lunch, so I don't know how long the lunch break was, but I did try to eat a bit quickly because I didn't want the anesthetic to wear off. I have heard someone on their YouTube channel commented that after their lunch they had to get injections again because the pain had, or the anesthetic has started to wear off. So I didn't want to take too long eating because of that. But I did end up having to get anesthetic injected into my head later on during the day anyway, because I think some of it was starting to wear off. What else? I will of course show you clips of what my hair looks like, but just in case those clips don't come out clear enough, I'm just leaning forward a bit so you can see what it looks like now. Sleep wasn't an issue last night, and I'm so grateful to God for that as well, because I did pray that he would help me sleep, and he definitely came through. Honestly, when I came back home from the hotel, my head was in so much pain, so much pain. But I took the medicines that they gave me, and I was just so tired and so exhausted that after I had my dinner, I just went to bed. When I came back, I was actually so physically drained and exhausted that I couldn't even go downstairs to the restaurant to eat dinner. I felt like I would probably faint on the way. Yeah, I was really drained. So after I had my dinner and took the tablets, I just went to bed, and honestly I had a beautiful night's sleep. I only really woke up to go toilet because you are supposed to drink quite a bit of water, so I only woke up a couple of times to go toilet, but it didn't take me that long to get back to sleep again after I went back to bed. So I had a beautiful night's sleep, which is fantastic. I really praise God for that, because I know some people do say that they don't, like, sleep is a myth after their hair transplant, but I had a beautiful night's sleep, so hallelujah, hallelujah. This morning the painkillers are still active and working, so when I woke up, and even now, like a few hours, 5 hours or so after waking up, I don't really feel any pain, which is good. So it's not painful at the moment, and I've taken my tablets for this morning. There was quite a lot of blood trickling down my head last night in the taxi back home. So yeah, I did have blood just like pouring down my head, and then it would dry, so I had to like use warm water and some cotton wool to slowly take that off. But overall, I'm so grateful for all of the other YouTubers and TikTok people who have shared their experience, because it really helped me know what to expect. So nothing came as a surprise. I didn't really have any questions for them inside the clinic, because I knew the process from everyone else's videos. And the pain itself, I mean, yes, it pains a lot, and it is a lot to take in, but you know, I've been in pain before, so pain, I'm not unfamiliar with pain, but in the same token, it still is a lot to deal with, and you will feel like, gosh, this is a lot, like what am I putting myself through? So it's just a process, it's just an experience, I guess. I do kind of feel, I don't regret the decision, but I do kind of wonder, is this all worth it? I think it's just human nature, isn't it? But I'm really praying that in a year, 2 years time, that I'm so glad that I did this. I know there's still a lot to do, but yeah, just trying to take one day at a time. So maybe I've covered everything for now, I guess, in terms of how the transplant itself went, why it took so long, took so many hours, my first night's sleep, and then also how it feels. This is now day 2, so the morning after. I will be going to the clinic today to get my hair washed. For some reason, they've changed it from tomorrow to today. So I was supposed to get my hair washed on Saturday morning and then fly out in the afternoon, in the late afternoon. But they've moved my hair wash, or my head wash. I don't have any hair at the moment. So they've moved my head wash to today. So I'm expected at the clinic at 1 p.m. today. So I've got a couple hours and then I'll jump in the cab. So yeah, I don't know how the hair wash will go, but I'm sure I'll come back on camera and share with you how it goes. Yeah, I think that's probably all I can say for now, I guess. And just very quickly actually, because obviously like this is us looking our absolute worst. So I'm in a hotel where there are so many other people getting some kind of cosmetic procedure done. So although yeah, you will feel a bit embarrassed with your head looking like this with bandages on your head, especially as a female, but that kind of sense of embarrassment goes away very, very quickly, because every other person walking around in the hotel has bandages on their body, if it's like this hair transplant thing, or they have done or they've had a nose job done, or they'll have bandages around their face. I don't know what procedure they've had done, but yeah, everyone, not everyone here, but it feels like everyone here is here because they're having some kind of procedure done, so try not to worry. It's like we all blend in here. You don't really need to feel too embarrassed. The only reason why I had my dinner in my hotel room, so I ordered room service last night, the only reason why I did that is because my head was still bleeding last night, and I didn't really want to be grossing anyone out in the restaurant by having blood drip down my face whilst they're eating. So and also actually my body just felt too weak to fathom trying to go downstairs, eat dinner and then come back upstairs. I felt like I'd be crawling my way to the restaurant and crawling back because I literally had no energy. So yeah, I think I've probably covered all of it for now. This ended up taking a bit longer than I expected to explain it, but I guess I just want to brief you as to how it has gone so far. Yeah, I will come back once I've had my head washed.